Do you ever wonder if we're alone in the universe or if there's more out there? Well, a new study is capturing images of the southern sky through a massive new camera, giving us never before seen images into the beyond. Rutgers University is participating in the study, collecting the data and analyzing it. Saurabh Jha is a distinguished professor of physics and astronomy at Rutgers who's helping to make sense of the results, and he recently joined us to share his excitement over the new project. Saurabh Jha, so great to see you on the show. Can you tell us a little bit more about this legacy survey of space and time and what it will accomplish?
Yeah, this is going to be a huge revolutionary leap forward in our ability to observe the dynamic universe. So, with the Rubin Observatory in Chile, which is a large 6.5 meter diameter telescope, and attached to that telescope is the world's largest digital camera. And it's going to take pictures of the sky unlike we've ever seen before. With such a wide field of view, it can go and look at basically the whole sky in just a period of a few days, taking point after point after point. And then after those few days, it's going to go back and do it over and over and over. And so far, our views of the sky have really been images. You've seen pictures from the James Webb Space Telescope or the Hubble Space Telescope. Those are static images. What the Rubin Observatory and its legacy survey of space and time are going to do is make a movie of the universe. We're going to see the changing dynamic universe over 10 years, getting images over and over of the sky, seeing all the different things that change in the universe. So I'm very excited about that. That's really near and dear to my own research.
I'm curious, is there anything you're looking for in particular when it comes to changes, when it comes to this dynamic universe?
Yeah, for me, my research is to study exploding stars, what we call supernovae. So these are stars at the end of their lives, and some of them, not all, some of them explode, and we can see those stellar explosions halfway across the universe. And so far, over the past decades, we've observed thousands of these exploding stars. And with the Rubin Observatory, over its 10-year survey, we're going to observe millions of exploding stars. So for me, that's the research that I'm most excited with, study those stars and how they explode. And the other thing about those is those exploding stars can tell us about things we don't see. So one of the big discoveries that we've made over the last decades and in astronomy is the idea that most of the universe is dark. Most of the universe is stuff we can't see. And so you might ask, well, why are we building a telescope for things we can't see? And the reason is that what we see is the effects of those dark components of the universe on the things we can see. So, for example, dark matter and dark energy, those are two parts of the universe that we have inferred that must exist out there because of their effects on the things that we can see. And in particular,
What is
what I
that?
study.
Can
Yeah,
I jump in
please.
here? What is dark matter? What is dark energy? Just put that into
Yeah, we
layman's
don't know.
terms.
That's the great question. That's the question. Those are the questions that the Rubin Observatory is going to try and figure out. What are those things? Those are basically names that we have for things that we know must be out there because of the effects that we see. So, for example, we see that galaxies spin faster than they should, or clusters of galaxies, the galaxies move around faster than they should. We see the whole universe expanding faster and faster with time. That's not what we expected if there wasn't anything else out there, any of this dark matter or dark energy. So we see the effects of those things on the stars and galaxies that we can observe, and we don't know what they are. We want to know what they are. And so with the Rubin Observatory and its survey, what we're going to do is we're going to study these galaxies and exploding stars in more detail and in more numbers than we've ever had before. And that's going to help us hopefully understand what is dark matter and what is dark energy beyond the effects that we already know about.
So we know that this is a 10-year study. Let me ask you this. How do you believe that the images, the data that comes out of this will help to shape perhaps an entire generation of study of the universe?
For sure. This is a long-term endeavor. And so we're really excited that it has just started. And in fact, just with a few weeks or even a year of data, we're going to go beyond what we had done before. So that's going to be very exciting. So throughout the 10-year survey, it's not like you have to wait till all 10 years are done and then we'll learn something. Throughout that survey, we're going to learn more and more about the universe. So I'm very excited for students, especially like graduate students or undergraduate students or even elementary school students or high school students. As this LSST starts now, the things that we're going to learn from the data over the next decade, should revolutionize our understanding of astronomy and cosmology and our place in the universe. So it's a really exciting time for that long survey to begin.
The Rubin Observatory is in Chile. I have to ask, how did Rutgers get involved in this?
That's right. So the amazing thing, so the Rubin Observatory is there are people from all over the world involved, but the prime sort of sponsors of the Rubin Observatory are the National Science Foundation in the United States, which really built the observatory, the telescope that you're looking at right there, and the United States Department of Energy, which is the organization that built the digital camera, that world's largest digital camera. So you need both. You need the telescope and the camera to take the pictures. And once that enterprise, basically anyone in the United States or in Chile or other partners around the world can get the data. So at Rutgers, we're very interested in ideas about galaxies and the universe, how the universe has formed, how it's evolved with time, what is dark matter, what is dark energy. So Rutgers astronomers have been involved in planning for Rubin and working on how Rubin is going to observe the universe for a long time. So we're really excited about getting this data, as things get started, and seeing what we can see.
And I know you touched on the camera, but just help us better understand the magnitude of this camera that we're talking about. This is not something you pick up in your hands.
That's right. So, in your phone, you have a little tiny camera that takes beautiful pictures. This camera is the size of an automobile. So it is a huge, large digital camera, and it's the thing that allows us to take a picture of a wide part of the sky. So many full moons in diameter. If you can imagine looking up at the full moon and you say, oh, that's a pretty small piece of the sky, this camera can do many full moons across at one time. And because it's attached to such a big telescope that can collect a lot of light, we don't have to take a long exposure. So this camera takes an exposure of about 30 seconds, and then it moves on to the next piece of the sky and takes another picture. And so every 30 seconds or so, new data is coming from the telescope, gets sent off to processing centers in the United States and other places in the world. And then that data become available. So over and over, big pictures of the sky, just one image from the Rubin Observatory and its camera would fill 400 high definition TVs. So if you think about 400 flat screen TVs, you'd have to put them side by side just to observe at the pixel level one image from the Rubin camera. And then we're going to get an image like that every 30 seconds or so. And so every night that the weather is good, the telescope's going to be observing for 10 years. So we're going to collect tons and tons of data, petabytes of data, filling up hard drives all around the world. And then, we're going to see that movie of the universe. So that's really the most exciting thing.
Absolutely incredible, and really just makes you realize how tiny we are in this massive universe that we exist in. Saurabh Jha, Distinguished Professor of Physics and Astronomy at Rutgers University. Thank you.
Thanks very much.